hackers, today we're going to code an 800-year-old geometric effect with just lines and circles. It's called the Tusi Couple. If you haven't already, check out my short on the Tusi Couple. Let's get started. First, I'll define the setup function setup, and I'll create a canvas, but instead of setting the width and height to fixed values, I'll set them to inner width and inner height, and these are the width and heights of the viewport. I'll also set the angle mode to degrees because the degrees are a bit easier to work with than the default, which are radians. And I'll define the draw function draw, and let's set the background to background black, and let's start drawing the outer circle. So this is going to be the big circle. So it's just going to be a circle from width over 2 and height over 2, and it's going to have a diameter of 500. And actually, let's make this diameter a constant because we'll use it often. So I'll call it range. Const range is assigned to 500. And yeah, circle width over 2, height over 2, and range. There we go. We've got a circle, but I want it to be clear. So I'll call no full. And we can't see anything now because the stroke by default is black. So we have to set the stroke color to white. There we go. It's a bit thin though, so I'll set the stroke weight to 3. There we go. That's our outer circle. But I'm going to translate to width over 2 and height over 2. So everything by default, if we render it at the center, will actually be rendered at width over 2 and height over 2. And now we can't render the circle at width over 2, height over 2. We just render it at 0, 0. Okay, now let's draw one line. So I'll call the line function, and the line goes from 0 with an x position of 0 and a y position of negative range over 2 to 0 and positive range over 2, but I don't say plus range over 2 because by default it's plus. Okay, the line is a bit thick though, so I'll set the stroke weight to 2, and I'll also make it less bright, so I'll set the stroke to 200, which is quite a light color. Okay, there we've got one line. Now let's add one circle. So we'll draw a circle at, for now, 0, 0, and let's give it a diameter of 30. Okay, we've got a circle, but it's not being full, so I'll set the full color to orange. Yeah, orange looks nice. And maybe, no, that's a good size. Okay, but the circle is not moving, and we want it to move up and down. And the way we can do that is by using the sine function. We'll take the sine of the frame count, and thus will give us a value from -1 to 1, which is too small to notice. So I'll multiply this by range over 2. So it's going to go from negative range over 2 to range over 2. There we go. Now we've got one circle, but we need multiple circles. So let's add multiple lines first. So I'll create another constant called numLines, and numLines will be set to 10. You can set it to 8 or even 5. And here in the line, we'll change that comment to lines, and we'll loop from 0, for that I is assigned to 0, to numLines. I is less than numLines I++. So this will give us I from 0 to 9, I believe. Yes. And it will repeat 10 times. Okay, cool. Now we can push and pop in here. So we isolate the the rotations we're going to make. And now we have to rotate by a specific amount. So let's just rotate by 40 degrees to see what that does. Okay, it moved the line, but we want to rotate more and more and more each time the loop reiterates. So what we can do is multiply this 40 by I. But that's moving by too much. So we need to use 180 degrees so that we rotate the lines over a half circle. Let's call it gap. So const gap is going to be 180 degrees divided by the number of lines. There we go. And now the lines are spaced evenly. Now that we've gotten lines, we can add some circles. I'll change the comment to circles and copy this for loop. Perfect, just like that. Okay, now, so all these circles are being drawn on top of each other, which is not what we want. So I'm gonna offset the circles, but actually I realized all these circles are moving a bit slowly, so I'll multiply the frame count by 2. Yeah, that's a bit faster. Okay, so I'll create a variable called offset, and offset is assigned to, let's see. Okay, it's the same formula we use here, which is I times the gap. And the gap is the 180 degrees divided by num lines. If you want, you could create a function to calculate this for you, but I'm not going to do that in this video. Okay, cool, but we're not using this offset, so what we'll do is we'll wrap this frame count times 2 in brackets. We don't really need to, but I'm just doing it for clarity. And we'll add offset. There we go. Now we've got a bunch of balls which are moving up and down, and it looks pretty nice actually, but we want them to be rotated. So we'll push and pop again to isolate the transformation. Pop. Yep, and we will rotate by offset. Offset is the number we want to rotate by. There we go, and now we've got circles spinning around. I'm going to remove the stroke to make it look a bit better. So no stroke. There we go, and this looks pretty nice. As you can see, each circle is just moving along its own line, which is pretty cool. Okay, now I'm gonna create an array called colors, and this is just an array of random colors which I'm going to define. So for let I, let me copy this for loop again. For let I is assigned to 0, I is less than num lines, I plus plus, and colors dot push, and we'll push in here a random color. So what we can do is we'll push an array of random 255s 3 times. And okay, this is how it works. This is the red value, this is the blue value, and this is the green value. And each value goes from 0 to 255. And random 255 gives you a value from 0 to 255. Alright, cool. We're not using the colors though. So let's pull by colors of I. There we go. And now we get new random colors every time we reload the sketch. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.